Hi, thought I'd jump on here and do a live today. Title of my live today is Why Vegan? My body's little secret. So, I'm going to give you the short version of this story and then tell you why I decided to go vegan and what the difference is between the two. So, back last year, I had an injury. I tore my MCL in my knee. I fell outside on my pool, did a spectacular split. It was fantastic. I wish I had it on video, but I did a lot of damage to my knee. And so I was doing physical therapy and all that garbage. And I went to my doctor, and my doctor said, "Hey, your numbers are a little elevated, and what's going on here?" And I said, "I haven't changed anything. I'm still exercising, And I thought, this is weird. What's going on? My cholesterol had jumped up. My bad cholesterol had jumped up. Give a backstory. There's some heart history on both sides of my family, but my dad had serious clogged arteries, But I thought, hey, I've lost all this weight. I'm good and healthy. I run, I lift weights, I'm exercising, I'm a personal trainer. I thought I was immune. I thought I was all that in a box of crackers. And so what happened was my doctor said, "Hey, your heart murmur, which runs in my family, but it was no big deal. You've developed a prebeat." And I was like, "What the Sam Hill's that?" And she said, "Well, I'm going to send you to get a calcium score. That's where they stick you in the CAT scan machine and check your heart to see if there's clogging in the arteries or anything." So anyway, I went in, had this thing done. I figured, no big deal. I got a phone call from my doctor, and I could tell it wasn't good. And she had a really weird tone to her voice. And she said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm driving home." She goes, "Okay, I want you to stop somewhere." And I said, "Okay, this sounds serious." And she goes, "It is." She said, "Your calcium score is one of the highest I've ever seen for someone your age." And I go, "What does that mean?" And she said that it's in the 2700s, and you've got 3 arteries in your heart that are affected. And I was in shock, stunned. And I said, "What? Are you kidding me?" And she said, "No." And I was like, "What the hell? Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "You need to see a cardiologist right away." And I remember I walked in the front door and all the tears came. Just all the tears came. And I just started sobbing. I literally almost fell on the floor sobbing. And I thought, what the hell have I done all this for? I have exercised myself silly. I've eaten right according to my bariatric surgeon, according to my doctors. So then this huge roller coaster came of, you gotta go get an EKG, you've gotta go get an ultrasound of your heart, you've gotta have a nuclear stress test. Went and saw the cardiologist, did all these, jumped all these, through all these hoops, and I went and saw him, and he's like, "Well, it is what it is. You've got some really bad numbers, but you need to be perfect." And I'm like, "Well, what the hell does that mean?" He says, "You got to be perfect." I go, "Explain." And he says, "You've got to be perfect. Your blood pressure has to be perfect. Your cholesterol has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect." And I was like, "Okay, how do I do that?" He says, "Well, you just have to be perfect." And I left that office, and I was so mad, and I was like, "I'm not going back." So I went home and got on the big search engine, Google, and said, "Google, what do I need to do? How do I fix this? How do I repair this?" Because I don't take stuff lying down. I had my little pity party, and then it was like, "Okay, suck it up, Buttercup." And so I went on and said, what can I do to fix this? And it said, one of the best ways to fix coronary artery disease is to go on a plant-based diet. And so I watched this Netflix documentary called Forks Over Knives. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend you do. It's very eye-opening. So I was like, okay. So I did it for 60. I thought, okay, I just have my blood work run. I know what my numbers are. I'm going to do this for 60 days. And of course, they recommend if you're going to go vegan to go vegetarian first, then go vegan, because I went from 5th gear to 1st gear and it was a hard shift. I thought it was going to be harder than it was, but it was a pretty hard shift. I mean, no dairy, no eggs, no meat, plants, whole grains, fruit. That's about it. Even with plant-based, let me give you the difference between the two. Vegan is a lifestyle. Vegan is you're not going to eat animal products. You're not going to use animal products. You're not going to do anything that's tested on animals. It's a they're very humanitarian. Well, they don't want to endanger animals. Okay, so that's vegan. Vegan is more of a lifestyle, even though you still see some people that are very large, heavy, that are vegan, and that's because they still eat a lot of oils and a lot of nuts. They don't realize that those still have a lot of empty calories. Plant-based is what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's plant-based. You limit the nuts, you limit the oils, and you eat whole grains, and you eat, you can have tofu, but they want you to limit that. You eat a lot of your protein comes from plants or whole grains, beans, legumes. So that's the difference. So I went plant-based. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go plant-based. So I did it for 60 days. And I went back in and I had my numbers rerun. And it was astonishing. Astonishing in the fact that my cholesterol, my total cholesterol dropped 102 points. My bad cholesterol dropped 99 points. And I went back in and saw my doctor when we got the blood tests, and she was astonished. So I decided I wasn't going to take this lying down. I was like, what do I do? So I went and saw a new cardiologist, and I had an angiogram where they literally run a catheter in through an artery here. It goes up into your arm, into your heart. And they take a look. They take actual pictures of your heart. They watch your heart running. They put dyes in there so they can see what's going on. And when she came out, she looked at me. I was in the recovery room, and she said to me, "Kiddo, you've got the best kind of coronary artery disease." And I'm like, "Well, what does that mean?" She goes, "There's no clogging of the artery." So here's the artery, okay? And with coronary artery disease, what happens is you get clogging here and blood can't get through. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Bob Harper is a perfect example. Everybody knows Bob Harper from The Biggest Loser. That's what he has, is coronary artery disease, where the arteries get clogged. So see, you can be a fitness person and think you're healthy. That's why they call it a silent killer, because it can kill you. So what mine is I have the arteries, and it's on the outside, so it's not clogging, so the blood flows there, which is great, but I still want to fix this. So that's when I decided to go ahead and stay plant-based, because the doctor told me, the cardiologist, Dr. Amy, I love her, she said, "You don't have to be perfect." And I said, "Well, okay, that's good, but I've already adopted this. I'm going to stay with it." So am I 100% perfect? No, I'm not perfect. Nobody can be perfect. You know, that's where I wanted to talk about too, is 80-20. 80% of the time, I try and stay perfect. I try and keep my nutrition on point. 20% of the time, I live. So yeah, I do eat wild caught tuna once in a while. And sometimes I will have a little feta cheese on my salad. Now, I got called out this week because I did have a little bit of a weight gain over the past couple weeks, and I got called out by my mentor, Dr. V, and I thought, you know, you're being dumb. You need to start, and I don't ever want you to call yourself dumb, but my actions were dumb, and I was doing some things I shouldn't be doing, eating a little bit more than I should have. So I got back on track. My AP, my accountability partner, and I are doing a challenge right now of exercising every day, because I need to get back to doing that. So she's a wonderful person. I love her to death. But challenge yourself. Do one meatless meal. Do meatless Mondays. You know, I know there was a big push for that, but try that. Today is Cinco de Mayo. You know, celebrate. Have chickpea tacos. Take some chickpeas, put them in the oven, put a little seasoning, a little salt, little chili powder on them, put them in the oven with, just a little bit of avocado oil, put those bad boys in the oven, 350 degrees, let them crisp up a little bit, put that on your taco shell, like some corn tortillas, put some lettuce on there, or do it with refried beans, but get vegan refried beans. Get some refried beans that don't have the animal lard in them and the animal products, and have a meatless taco. Or have a meatless celebrate Cinco de Mayo and have that, because we all love tacos. Let's be honest, we all love tacos. So it's little moves, small moves. Just try one day a week. Just try one day a week of going meatless. You'll be surprised how easy it really, truly, truly is. I'm going to try and do a cooking live this week if you have any things, but I'm going to look at it, maybe doing a what I call my dump soup. You've heard of dump cakes. I'm going to do my dump soup. We get so hung up on protein. Our brains have been trained to do protein. But I encourage you to try and eat more whole, natural foods, plants. Half of your plate, take your plate, don't go get the 10-inch plate, but get the smaller plate. Do half of it, fruits and vegetables. We're going into a time right now, with coronavirus where, and I'm not doing this to scare you, I'm telling you the truth, that we're going into a time where meat's going to become an issue, a bigger issue. We've already seen some issues with some of the meat, with the different things that have happened to it. So maybe try looking at other alternatives other than meat, because there are proteins out there, some pea proteins, different types of things. But with going vegan, the one caution I do have, there's two, going vegan or going plant-based. Watch your oils and watch your nuts, because if you're trying to lose weight, those suckers got a lot of calories. They got a lot of punch for the value. A tablespoon of avocado oil, or 14 to 16 grams of protein or fat in it. So be careful with that. The other caution I have, if you decide to go plant-based, is you have to have a B12 supplement, because obviously B12 is in plants, or not in plants per se, it's in meats. So you gotta have that, whether that's through nutritional yeast, adding that to your food, or having a good B12 supplement. That's important. But I really, really, really encourage you to just try one day a week. Try go plant-based. Try going to eating plants and legumes and beans. Make a taco salad. Have a salad, a regular salad, instead of putting meat on it. There's something called the dookie beans, or pinto beans. Have those on your salad, because you're getting some protein there and you're getting really good fiber, which is huge. We don't eat enough fiber in our diet these days. Have that with some plant-based sour cream. There's some really good ones out there, and some salsa. You won't miss the cheese, you won't miss the chips, you won't miss all that stuff. Just have a really good salad. Enjoy your food, chew your food, and do it without distractions. But have your family try that. It's really good. I don't miss the meat, I don't miss the cheese, honestly, when I do stuff like that. So you can still have fun, you can still celebrate Cinco de Mayo. You don't have to have a hunk of meat to celebrate it. So anyway, that's my story. I'm doing much better. My numbers are really good. I am going to follow up in 6 months and a year, because I decided to stay this and see if I'm reversing this. But I know now I have to really be cautious, and I want to get the word out there. If you haven't had those tests done, there's calcium score. It's like $80. Have your doctor recommend you for it and go do it. It's it's like 5 minutes. Getting you in the machine, having the scan, and getting you out of the machine takes longer than the test. And there's no pain. They just do a quick little thing. It's a CT of your heart. But be aware. Be aware. Heart Month we all should be aware of our heart health. It's important, especially if you have risk factors. So do what you got to do to take care of you. That's important. Like I say, put you first. It's not selfish, and take care of you. So consider it. Do your homework. And again, if you have Netflix, I strongly recommend that you watch the documentary called Forks Over Knives. I care about you, and I want you to be healthy, and I want you to be happy. So I'm not going to push you into doing something you don't want to do, but I want to help you along the journey if you decide. I'm still new at this. Like I said, I started being plant-based at a time of year most people wouldn't think to do it. I started November, and I went through Thanksgiving and through Christmas being plant-based. So it's doable. You can have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of great cookbooks out there, and I'll be bringing some of those on, and even some of my own personal recipes that I've modified to be plant-based. So I want to do a cooking show for you guys once a week and just show you how there's just simple modifications in your diet can make a huge difference for you. But anyway, I wish you a very happy Cinco de Mayo. I wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And keep smiling and keep doing what you're doing for you, because it's important. Love you. Bye.